know that this is a current situation that quite a sort of different. I mean, we are actually moved to the online education system, and this is actually quite new, some of to us, and also quite new to most of our students. So while conducting the open book examination, the Department of Environmental Science and Disaster Management, we have the first thing that we have, put on the table is the quality of the education. We have tried to ensure that the examination, everything, this gets easier for our students and also with good quality, so that in future when they will go to, for their career, they don't face any problem in there. So I would like to show one example of one of my exams. For example, recently I have conducted the semester final examination. In here, I would like to show, in my environmental laws and ethics courses. So this is actually a sample questions of our open book examination, as our subject is actually quite descriptive, actually more precisely my subject. So I have tried to, design my questions in descriptive forms. And while putting the questions on the table, we have always tried to enrich the creative thinkings of our students. For example, in environmental laws and ethics, there is a topic I teach which is called the environmental ethics. So environmental ethics is something that can be differed from person to person. So here I have asked a question that justify the decision of the US government, from your own environmental ethics. So recently, the United States of America, it has allowed the killing of hundreds of sea lions. Why? Because of sea lions, the salmon fishes, their habitat is in danger. So there has been a lot of, oppositions of this, against this decision. There has been also, you can say that, a lot of support for the decision, but this can be deferred from their own environmental ethics. So I have told my students that, okay, read the news and then analyze it, that whether you support it or not from your own environmental ethics. So that's an example. Another thing, what I would like to, exemplify that you can see that another question in here, that a nuclear power plant is being constructed in Rupur. We know this. So what should be the laws regarding that? Please explain. How can Bangladesh learn from Chernobyl in this regard? So I have taught my students the Convention on the Nuclear Safety, but now I have asked them to go further to research more. So we all know about the Chernobyl accident, that it happened in the Russia. At that time, USSR actually. So I want them to research on this thing, and I want them to answer. And then finally, we know that the Rupur power plant is being constructed in Bangladesh. So in that, for that scenario, actually, I have told them that analyze it and then give your overview, actually. So I would like to share one of the sample responses, of our department, or one of my courses, that how we want our students, to answer or to respond. So there is a sample response of a student. So we know that one of the basic challenges we have faced during this open book examination is this plagiarism or paraphrasing or something like this. So initially, definitely my students, our students, they were actually not really familiar. So it was actually our, great concern on this, but Alhamdulillah, by the grace of Almighty, now our students, they have learned to research on the internet resources. They have learned to show their paraphrasing quality and their analytical quality. So for example, this is, the response of the environmental laws and ethics. So the questions I have asked in here, such as justify your position, the environmental ethics on that news. So they have shared it in here, and they have, for example, you can see that this student, it is suggesting some, some of his own suggestions from his own thinking in here. So if I, give another point of view, that another challenging during conducting the open book examination is referencing. While we write our journals, we know that we use a lot of softwares like Mendeley or cite this for me. There are some, definite referencing format. But actually during the examinations, we cannot expect our students to go for that, because that is too much, time consuming and also not appropriate for this kind of exams. That is actually more appropriate for the journal publication. So I was thinking that what can be done in here. So I told them, okay, you don't need to go for that kind of Mendeley referencing, but just tell me that what is the source of your this kind of information. So now they have learned to, whatever they write, they always give me references that this is the link or this is whatever. So this is example of a sample response, and I would like to show another sample response. The reason of showing this is that we know that some of our students, as Pasha sir say, that some of our students might having technical problems, they might not having laptops or something like this. So what can be done in here? So our department, firstly, we have allowed it. But what I have tried in my courses that, yes, you give me in writing, no problem. You give me in writing, I will allow this. But you should try to maintain the quality of it, the answer paper. So initially, they used to just, click the pictures and just, submit it. They used to do it. But we say that no, you try to upgrade yourself with more technology. So what I taught them, that okay, fine, write down in the paper, arrange it. Then there are a lot of applications in the internet you will find, like scanning apps. So if you write it down, then submit it in a well and in an arranged way. So in here, this is a sample response of one of my students, and she has really done well in here. And I'm really very much happy that whatever the situation is, our students, they're learning to cope up with this and they're trying to give their best efforts.